Aren't
Yeah.
we as adults, Ian, don't we both have the right and the capability of deciding for ourselves?
Well, absolutely. And I would say they have abjectly failed in their duty. They have failed in their job description. I hope some of our viewers can name these people that are on this film. I think we need their names and their positions, their salaries, what their pensions are, because they're acting. It's worse than dishonestly, because basically they're saying the system is about to collapse. They're saying,
yeah, that's what they said.
Welcome to Gold Silver Pros. Searching for the best precious metals deal? Shop with our trusted partner, 𝘲𝙁𝙁. Access special deals on silver, gold, and platinum through our website, or call 307-264-9441.
Hey everyone, this is Rob Keens with 𝘲𝙁𝙁𝙁.com. We are recording this on Valentine's Day. It's February 14th, 2023, and I'm joined by my good friend, Ian Everard of 𝘲𝙁𝙁. How are you doing today, this Valentine's Day?
I'm good, thank you, Rob. How are you?
I'm doing very well, and you're looking pretty sporty there. How's work gone today, and filling orders and things going well for 𝘲𝙁𝙁?
It's been busy, yeah. Business is picking up, probably five times the amount per day than what we were doing in January. So looks like January is a quiet month.
Fantastic. So that it's good to be busy, but I know also, Ian, just chat a little bit about developments at 𝘲𝙁𝙁. You've got a store going up. Can you tell us a little bit more about that store and people who may be local to you?
No, sure. Yeah, it's a hard journey doing 60, 70, 80 hours a week just running the business. Then putting my work clothes on, painting, putting the hardwood floor down, display cabinets to make. So I bought the black walnut because our logo is silver on black walnut. So I'm making the display cabinets. So hopefully a couple of weeks we'll be moving operations mainly over to Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
That is awesome. And is it still snowing up there? Are you doing all this traipsing through the snow, or what's the weather?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we have about three feet of snow on the ground. We could get another 4 foot this month as possible.
Yeah.
We've had some warm days, some beautiful sunny days. So they break it up. They make it bearable here. I think once you survive 2 winters here, you're good.
So you're officially
I'm into my 3rd winter.
Local.
Yeah.
You have to go through 2. That's the initiation, right?
Exactly. A lot of people give up after 1 winter. Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. Well, I think you just have to get used to it. And one of the things you were talking about is something that makes it easier. You have this really powerful snowblower, so you're not sitting there shoveling everything. I mean, the modern age, you got to use modern conveniences, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can shift several tons of snow an hour. Well, probably about 10 tons of snow an hour with the big snow blower I've got. So yeah,
as long as you can keep the city from blowing it back on your property.
I do have a battle with the local plow guy. We live on a cross street, and he seems to think we should have all the snow on our corner. So I think otherwise. I like to be fair, spread it out evenly.
Yeah. All right, well, let's turn to the story. So we have a little bit more of a serious story, and this is a video that's been kind of circulating around. You say it's old, but I don't think it's really that old, to be honest with you. But it's the FDIC meeting, and they're talking about stability of the banking system. Before we get into that video, do you want to do any commentary or just summarize your thoughts on it?
Yeah, sure. It's actually unbelievable. I mean, one, I'm thankful that somebody managed to record it. I guess it was on a security. I'm not sure how whoever got the recording out. I would love to actually know the names of the people we see on camera, because they have incriminated themselves. This is supposed to be the Federal Deposit Insurance, whatever the C stands for, and it's like,
yeah.
So we pay their wages.
Yes,
they should be working for us, the people. But
no, shouldn't every government agency be working for us, Ian?
They should, absolutely. Yes, they should be polite, diligent, and get on with their job. Yeah.
I think sometimes they forget, though.
I think they do. Yeah.
All right, so you want to go ahead and play the clip and just chat about it after?
Yeah.
All right, so everybody watching this is a 3-minute, 33-second clip. when I play these while we're recording, sometimes the video is not the best, but you should hear the audio, and that's just because you're streaming. But we'll get that out there, and then we'll put a link to this as well in the description so you guys can play the full thing yourself. So 3 minutes, and then we'll come back, and Ian and I will chat about it for just a moment. So we'll put that up on screen. And this is the FDIC bankers discuss bail-ins, but they also talk about the stability of the system. Listen very closely to this interaction between these guys. It's very interesting video.
Should be accessible when people need to know, but I don't think you have much hope of reaching a public that doesn't have a professional need to know.
I completely agree with that. I almost think you'd scare the public if you put this out. Like, why are they telling me this? Should I be concerned about my bank? Like, my insurance company doesn't tell me what they're doing with my assets. If they just assume they're going to pay my claim. Right? I think you've got to think of the unintended consequences of taking a public that has more full faith and confidence in the banking system than maybe people in this room do. That we want them to have full faith and confidence in the banking system. They know the FDIC insurance is there. They know it works. They put their money in. They're going to get their money out. So there's a select crowd of people that are in the institutional side. And if they want to understand this, they're going to find a way to understand this. There's a bunch of law firms represented in this room. There's a bunch of people that charge them by the hour a lot of money to explain this all to them. And it's fine. I don't have a problem with that. And they all have huge staffs. But I would be careful about the unintended consequences of starting to blast too much of this out in the general public.
I wondered whether there are some market tests of whether you're being heard. And I think about TLAC. So TLAC should respond to good and bad news about the institutions. And it's really important. I mean, it's a little bit conflicted, right? I mean, it's important that people understand they can be bailed in, but you don't want a huge run on the institution. But they're going to be. And it could be an early warning signal to the FDIC and the primary regulators when these things happen. And there may be some other prices. This is similar to what Jay was saying in the market, that you can tell whether people understand who's going to be protected, who isn't going to be protected. It would be, I think, an interesting study to look at the evolution of market prices in a situation like March of 2020, for example, and see whether people understood what might happen.
I'd like to go back to some of Dick's early comments. I do think it is hard to get a lot of demand for transparency right now in this sort of period of peacetime. But that is going to flip, and it's going to flip probably even faster than we saw in 2008, where the need for communications really quickly in the social media world to avoid disinformation, to have some holding patterns for things like, I remember in the early days of bail-in, people saying they're coming for my deposits, right? So just holding communications that you can pull out that are helpful to deal with disinformation, some very simple things, and how quickly you'll be able to deal with different constituencies. For example, as liabilities are further up and closer to harm's way, when are you going to be able to give them some comfort, if any? How do you deal with foreign operations? How do you communicate to some of those different groups? I think ex-ante preparation for the speed of scaling up and the ability to get information out to avoid rumors taking over the narrative strikes me as probably the place that feels like it's got the most benefit in a world where I think you've done a pretty good job of getting out the basics of Title II and some of the basic resources that are available now.
All right, Ian, so lots to talk about there. I'll let you kick it off. My gosh.
Yeah. So thankfully I got a transcript.
Okay, yeah, please do, because there was just so much in there. My head is hurting at this point.
Yeah. I mean, the things that stood out was, this is a direct quote, that the public doesn't have a professional need to know. So they've split up who should have a knowledge of how precarious the banks are.
Well, Ian, to that point where it's a two-class society, it's them and us. Isn't that essentially what they're saying? The technocrats who run things and the people that don't need to know. And
yeah.
And my understanding is the Constitution says that these people are all of our servants and our taxes goes to pay them, not that there are overlords or they make these decisions for us. Aren't we as adults, Ian, don't we both have the right and the capability of deciding for ourselves?
Well, absolutely, and I would say they have abjectly failed in their duty. They have failed in their job description. I hope some of our viewers can name these people that are on this film. I think we need their names and their positions, their salaries, what their pensions are, because they're acting. It's worse than dishonestly, because basically they're saying the system is about to collapse. They're saying,
yeah, that's what they said.
They're saying if the public knows, that will cause the system to collapse, and the public don't need to know. They're saying there's going to be winners and losers. They're picking the winners and losers. They're saying that the public has more full faith and confidence in the banking system than the people in the room. And that's when you hear that laugh. And that we did not edit that laugh on. Someone in that room was laughing. And guess what, viewers? They're laughing at you who have your funds in the American banking system, because they're going to choose who gets to keep that and who loses it when the system breaks down. And, you know, there's a select crowd of people that are on the institutional side, and they talked about high-paid lawyers that are sitting at the table with them. So it's fine if you've got high-paid lawyers and a huge staff, you're going to be warned, you're going to be protected. But the honest person who, hey, you could have sold a house, you could have $1 million in your bank account on the Monday, the banks go down on a Tuesday, the following Monday, you find out you've only got $250,000. This is what they're talking about. They're talking about people's lives. Sometimes people who worked for the whole working life are going to get caught losing the bulk of the money in the banking system that's supposed to be protected. You couldn't make this up.
And we didn't. We saw, in fairness, we saw that video on an FDIC server that was in the video, and we could go and look at all the participants and probably, but it obviously was an FDIC meeting. That didn't look like a deep fake or, you know, guys sitting around their kitchen table or anything like that. That's a legitimate video.
Yeah. And then they talk about managing the media, the need for communications really quickly in the social media world to avoid disinformation. No. They want to avoid genuine information leaking out to the public.
I have a question for you, Ian. Was us playing that video of them speaking without any edits or alterations misinformation? And in other words, if we print something they don't like, is that now the definition of misinformation? And does that dovetail into the recent attempt by the current administration to set up basically a ministry of truth over social media?
Yeah.
And so isn't that the same thing, that they know what's coming? They don't want us to know. So they got to try to silence social media so that they can manage it. And like you said, pick the winners and losers. So isn't that essentially, we put all those pieces together? They're going to manage us so they can pick the winners and losers and do whatever they want. And we just need to, I guess, I don't know, people are going to starve and die, you know, is that what's going to happen when we have the big market crash? And did they not care?
Well, this is mainly talking about the banking system. And is it 250,000 is supposed to be protected in any one account with
yes,
one
there
institution?
it used to be 100 when I was growing up. I think now when I go to my credit union or my bank, it says 250,000 by the FDIC. And I think credit unions, I don't know if it's FDIC or a equivalent agency, but they both have similar insurance schemes. I do know that.
Yeah. Now that sounds a lot, but we regularly have millions in our account. They've just told me that's not protected.
No, it's not. And even to that point, their reserves held by the FDIC is less. Well, last time I looked, it was slightly less than 1% of bank deposits. So when they say picking winners, aren't they saying we have limited funds? So that 1% is going to go to who we say it. Would that be a logical conclusion?
Well, I actually watched maybe 3 years ago, a film put out by the FDIC about what happens when a bank fails, and they showed a local bank failing and how they move in and take over the bank. And then the interviewer asked them what happens when you run out of funds, because I think at the time they had 1.6% to cover the deposits are supposed to be
Let's just say 1.6 now. I saw less, but let's give them the benefit. Let's say 2.
Yeah.
We'll give them 2.
Well, they said, well, that's no problem because we're backed by the federal government and the government will create the money out of nowhere, currency out of nowhere, and everybody will be made whole. So basically, they will debase all existing dollars by creating even more dollars to plug the gap, but only up to 250,000. And so I am actually going to go in and see my bank manager tomorrow, and I'm going to hand him this transcript, and I'm going to ask for a written reply why he thinks it's a good idea anyone should have anywhere near $250,000 in their bank account.
Well, yeah, there's two layers to look at here, and you're pointing out really good statistics and things. One, maybe they have 1.5%. I saw one, we'll give them 2% of money just being super generous, 2% of money covering deposits. And they only cover up to 250, and they said they're going to pick winners. So they could give you 50 and the next guy 100. They could give you nothing and the next guy 250. They could give everybody $10 or $500 or a coupon to Sizzlers. You know, I mean, the other thing that a friend of mine, Lynette Zhang, points out all the time is when you put your money into a bank account, you no longer own that money, you're beneficial owner. And through eminent domain laws, she believes, and we don't have confirmation from a legal, so this is just speculation, but she believes that eminent domain laws could be applied to bank accounts and you could get like bank stock instead of money.
Oh yeah.
If the bank is insolvent, what's that stock worth?
Oh no, that's for sure, Rob. The bail-in laws were passed in 2012 on the basis that the public would not stand a bailout of the banks again. They just will not put up with $6 trillion being created out of nowhere to solve a $3 trillion subprime mortgage crisis, because obviously that revealed a whole load of other nasty worms in the system, and it needed $6 trillion immediately to plug that $3 trillion gap. So do the math on that. Basically,
it's 2 to 1. Somebody got money off of that for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. The bail-in, that is law. And yeah, you will end up with bank stock in a restructured bank that has zero value, and you probably won't be able to trade the stock for a period of 6 months or a year. And when you do, it'll probably be worth zero. It's like Deutsche Bank or Credit Suisse is pretty well gone to zero in Europe. Yeah, so and even if they do pay out that 250,000, how many businesses regularly have more than that in? And it might only be in there for a day or two, money coming in, money going out. But if you get caught on the wrong side of that, where is your business?
Yeah, it's a point in time control that's not backed up very well, applied to an economy that's moving all the time, which in and of itself is not a great scheme. And I wanted to point out, when we were talking about limited funds and we were talking about beneficial owner, think about it this way. If they know that they can only give you a portion because that's all the money they have, and we know the CBDCs are coming and they know on the CBDCs they have negative interest rates, I think the mechanism for giving you less is to move you into a CBDC and give you less, but guarantee you a certain amount. Maybe that's one way they do it, is saying, okay, I can't give you your 200,000 green dollars that we've been using since 1913, but I can give you digital money 80,000 and you can spend it right now everywhere, take it or leave it. And if you look back to the movie It's a Wonderful Life, which I watch every Christmas Eve, that's what happened to those banks back then. They would lend their money out to build other people's houses, and then there's a bank run, people come to get the money in the bank and they didn't have it. And that's a perfect, that movie is a perfect illustration of how the system works. And so they're not going to give you the whole thing. And they're probably at the same time going to try to move you into digital currencies and say, we'll give you something or else you starve out here with nothing. And that was in the movie It's a Wonderful Life. And they talked about the banking system. And why we don't have this in movies anymore. We don't tell truth in movies anymore, Ian. We don't let pop culture tell truth. But that movie told the truth.
No, and for sure, I am 100% convinced we're going fully digital this year in the banking system. And as we've spoken before, part of that will be trapping dollars as old dollars that will still exist on the computer screen. You'll be able to see them, but you won't be able to move them or use them. So that will be another level of confiscation. And basically the objective is to leave the people without the high paid lawyers and the huge staff. We'll be the bag carriers, you know, we'll be responsible.
I think when you add all those pieces up, the digital banking system, the different currencies going on in the rest of the world, the FDIC kind of stuff like this, the digital currency plan, negative interest rates and banks, I think we've kind of figured out their system, don't you think?
Absolutely, and it's even worse than, I mean, the negative interest rates would be annoying, but it's that complete tracing of every cent ever moved, where it comes from, where it's gone. That is absolute control, and when you get absolute control, you're going to get absolute abuse. And then we've got the example of Trudeau. He didn't like somebody, so he shut their bank accounts down completely illegally, but he did it anyway. Has he been sued for that? No. Is he still in power? Yes. So any Canadians watching, why have you still got that guy in charge of your nation? It's like, what are you doing?
Well, I think the way out of the system, of course, is Gold, Silver Pros or Precious Metals channel, but we think precious metals are going to be where you can store your wealth through the transition system, but even potentially longer than that if you want to build generational wealth. So let's talk about the precious metals in this scheme. If you put your money outside the banking system, you have some precious metals. What does that allow you to do while this other crazy stuff is going on?
It gives you absolute privacy. It's a non-reportable event purchasing them. You can choose to give them away or have a boating accident or lose them or forget where you've buried them. It's no more reportable than if you went down your lumber store and bought a semi-load of lumber. Except that it's a whole lot more compact and it doesn't go off. It doesn't rot, it doesn't decay. It just sits there, and a lot of people criticize it for that, but that's its beauty. Gold and silver are money, always have been, always will be.
Yeah, they have been. So I know that we do gold and silver sales here. So to be completely transparent, we do, and we do offer them, although I think Ian offers the best prices maybe anywhere. So I think that's an advantage to everybody listening. Tell us, Ian, a little bit about some of the deals that you may have for people, and I'll put that up on the screen too so people can see it.
Yeah, sure. We're going to carry on the Gold Silver Pros 79 cents on 1,000-ounce bars. We're going to carry on the 195 on kilos. So we've got these real nice JBR, real nice brushed, finished, serialized. And we are going to carry on an offer on Maples, Britannias, Philharmonics, and Kangaroos at $3.50.
Okay.
And we have had to put up the price. We put it up less than the wholesalers have. And American Eagles $7.95. I think we're over $1 better than anyone else on the Eagles.
Okay.
And then we've got a really good special on the Armenian Noah's Arks. They come in tubes of 20, mint sealed, $2.95 premium over spot on those. Yeah. And don't forget, our spot is actually lower than everybody else's spot as well. We use real spot.
You don't do the bid-ask spread that most people have?
We just do the real commodity spot price, which all the major wholesalers use. So come on, industry, wake up. Everybody just use the same genuine spot. Stop putting a premium on before you put your premium on.
You're right. Don't add premium to premium, right?
Yeah. And then, of course, we've got all of the wonderful silverback precious metal range. James Forsyth is making these amazing 10-ounce bars.
He is, yes.
They're shrink wrapped. They are serialized. He's still doing these artisan 10-ounce rounds.
Yeah.
5 different designs. Still got the great silverback 1-ounce rounds.
Gorgeous.
These are beautifully made in Turkey by the Kinesis Mint, and those Kinesis guys, they bought an excellent mint with really skilled staff. They're making beautiful. Look at the mirror finish on that 100-gram bar.
Yeah, gorgeous.
They just brought out. I'll put it together with the 5-ounce. What a lovely pair! Look at those. We've got a 10-ounce. Oh, get them in the screen, and the 5-ounce.
So you have all of those available to people if they're interested.
Yeah.
All those items you just put up from Silverback as well.
And they're what they started with, the amazing slices.
I got my own, Ian. This is from the bar. This is from the bar that you ordered, that we got from the Dakota Depository. That, yes, is part of Comex. We did get Comex bars. Yeah. He does get Comex bars. Ian provides him a lot of these bars that get drop shipped directly to Jim Forsyth, These are from the COMEX. This was a Korean zinc bar from Korea Zinc. It was silver as a byproduct of that zinc mine. And he put my name on it, Gold Silver Pros. This is the bar that we got from, and the exact amount of ounces, which I think is about 22.93.
You've been polishing that. You've been polishing it, Rob.
I have. It's gorgeous, and I'm going to keep this forever because this is custom made, and it is from a COMEX bar. I got the tracking receipt from Ian, from you. It was drop shipped directly to me from that depository. You didn't even touch it in the middle. So yes, to clear up any potential confusion about Jim Forsyth and Silverback Precious Metals, they do get metal directly from the COMEX. Ian, you help facilitate that. They get metal from other places, but if you're getting one of these slices, it is one of the COMEX bars. He puts them all on Twitter when he's slicing them up. He gives you the serial number on your slice, and he can validate that. And it's really cool. If you're interested in getting silver off of COMEX, drain the COMEX, or just you want one of these really cool slices, Ian has those for sale, and it does benefit James Forsyth, who's a good friend of ours with Silverback Precious.
That was the bar that broke your rucksack, wasn't it, Rob?
It is. It broke my backpack. I couldn't carry it. It's like carrying a 70-pound bag of concrete. And, you know, I'm older, Ian. I used to do that. I haven't done that in such a long time. I don't know how you do it when you get all the 1,000-ounce bars in. I guess I'm just not in athletic enough shape.
I've been in construction all my life. I'm used to lifting, moving things. So it's my gym, moving silver. It's a privilege and an honor, actually, to be able to place large amounts of silver in the hands of the people where it belongs.
So we do it, and yes, it does benefit the program in transparency, but we have such low premiums. I just want to say it, you know, it doesn't make us rich or anything. It's not our objective here. We really do, all of us together want to get, you know, good, low quality, or low premium, sorry, high quality, low premium silver in the hands of people. And I think definitely we've done that with a combination of government minted stuff and custom stuff. So you can get all that by reaching out to Ian. If you go to our webpage, goldsilverpros.com, go down the precious metal section, click on ARC and fill out that form. It goes directly to Ian. We get a copy so we can track it as well. You put in there what you're looking for, your contact info. Ian will reach out to you. And pretty soon, Ian, we're going to debut on the show your Shopify store as well, where people can order straight off of there. That's coming soon. Yeah,
that's going to be your custom bar, Rob, isn't it? It's going to highlight.
Right. Yep. We'll have our Gold Silver Pros bar, and I think you'll have other products there too as well, potentially.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any last thoughts for us today, Ian, just on this whole FDIC thing? It appears to me as though all this obfuscation, the curtain's coming down. We're seeing, you know, the guy behind the curtain in the Wizard of Oz and realizing it's maybe not what we thought. Any last thoughts for people as we kind of prepare? We talked about gold, silver, but what else should people maybe be doing in your eyes?
Get the transcript, take it to your bank,
and write your congressman, your state congressman. Wouldn't that be a good idea?
Just get it to anybody you can think of. So look, these guys are public servants, but they're acting in the benefits of the institutions. And they said with the high-paid lawyers in the room with them in that meeting. Yeah. And he said, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the institutions being forewarned because they can afford lawyers and huge staff.
Well, who's paying him? The institutions.
Exactly.
At the end of the day,
who are they working for? Yeah, who are they working for?
They get paid by the institution, so do they have complete independence? Well, they could, but if you're going through a financial crash, aren't you going to keep your salary through the institution? I mean, they're going to make the choice that benefits them, honestly. And this is a point I'd like to make. I think everybody's going to do that. And you have to protect yourself and your own family, I guess is what I'll end with.
Yeah.
Ian, thank you so much for stopping by the program. We'll put this up. It'll be out tomorrow, Wednesday, the day after Valentine's Day. Have a very happy rest of Valentine's Day to you, Ian. Take a break. I know you've been working so many hours. Go spend some time with your loved ones and have a good Valentine's.
Thank you, Rob. And you.
All right. Till next time, Rob Keynes with Gold Silver Pros.
Hey, thanks for watching. We selected these videos just for you. Check them out. And remember, $4.99 a month keeps the lights on and the channel going. So join our Gold Silver Pro supporter membership. We appreciate your support. Keep stacking.